Now let's move on to conversation. Now conversation is the fun part of the oral examination, or it can be rather stressful for some of us because we may be worried we are not able to carry on talking for a long period of time. Well, the good news is, as long as you stick to the question and you follow the format I'm about to share with you, you should be able to speak for at least 10 minutes. And given the number of questions that the teacher will be asking you, always a minimum of 3, you should not run out of things to talk about. Alright, so let's go into stimulus-based conversation. So remember, in the preparation phase, in the 5 minutes, as you're looking at the text, you're also thinking about the picture and the related themes. Right? Always remember that the first question the teacher asks you will always be about the picture. It will always start with, look at the picture. Tell me what you think. It will always follow this format. So what does that mean? You need to look carefully at the picture. Alright? So examine the picture systematically. Now this is a very big word. It simply means to look at the picture very carefully so you do not miss anything out. Alright? Make sure you look at every single word, every single part of the picture, and think about why this picture or this poster or this letter or this brochure is put together like that. Think about why it's designed like this. Identify the main features, the words, the pictures that you would like to talk about in response to the question that the teacher is asking you. Very important, you must always respond to the question. Don't talk about anything that you like. You must always answer the question. Right. So always ask yourself, when this poster is put together like this, how does it make me do what its creator wants me to do? So, for example, if I'm looking at a cereal box, why is this cereal box designed like this? Why is there a game on the cover of the cereal box? Is it to make me buy more cereal? Is it to make me get really curious about it so that I'll get mommy and daddy to buy that cereal for me? That could be a reason why there are games just printed on the cover of the cereal box. Alright? So how does this brochure, poster, letter, cereal box fulfill its purpose? That's important. Right? Next, form your opinions, meaning, what do you think about it? Do you think that it's working? Do you think this game, for example, on the cereal box, do you think that it's interesting? Do you think that it'll draw you to want to buy the cereal? Or do you think it's really boring? It's too easy? You probably need something more challenging? Tell the examiner that. Tell the examiner how you feel. Because remember, for conversation, it's about your personal response. Right? You've got to respond. And remember to keep your language clear so that your points are brought across quickly. So you don't have to keep on explaining yourself. Remember, clear language. Then think about all the other related themes to this picture that you might want to talk about. Alright? And if you are able to link some of your own personal experiences. For example, if we're talking about cereal, you might want to share about some of your favorite cereals and why you like these cereals, and maybe the toys that you look forward to finding buried in the cereal. So these are some of the pointers that you've experienced that would be very useful in the conversation. So think about them, alright? So now let's move from the preparation phase to the answering phase. Now we're finally in front of the examiner, and the examiner is asking us a series of questions, starting with the question about the picture, right? So always begin by stating your response. I agree. I strongly agree. I really agree. I believe that that is the answer. Or I don't think so. I don't agree. I strongly disagree. All right? These are all possible answers. Depends on what your personal response is. Then whatever your response is, whether it is to agree or to disagree, whether it is to like or to dislike, always support your answers. Never just answer, I think so, yes, I like it. And then stop there and wait for the teacher. Don't do that. Always take the initiative to support every opinion, every response with I wrote. Remember I wrote? We would have learned this in primary 1 and primary 2. I stands for ideas. R stands for reasons. O stands for your opinions. P stands for your personal experiences, and E stands for examples. So we've covered this in our preparation phase. I've explained some of this to you. So use this as a guideline, and you will not run out of things to say, right? So suggest some ideas to improve. For example, if we're talking about the cereal box, suggest some games that could be printed on the cereal box, some toys that could be included to make it more attractive, maybe changing the color of the box or making it a little bit bigger or smaller, or there are different ideas you can come up with. Give reasons for why you are suggesting these ideas. Make your own personal opinions very clear. Share your personal experiences about eating cereal. And finally, give some examples about how certain brands in the market today are very successful because they follow some of these ideas. That's why you're sharing these ideas. All right? So these are some ways that you can continue the conversation with the teacher. All right? And now let me move on to the last, but definitely not the least most important point, which is interaction. Now remember that the third thing that the teacher is looking for, the examiner is looking for in conversation, right, in addition to personal response, clarity of expression, the third one is interaction, right? It's a conversation. So you've got to remember that you're not talking to yourself, you're not looking at a picture and reading off it, you are talking to a living person, and that person is the examiner. So what must you do? Always keep your eyes on the examiner, right? Don't make the mistake of looking at your paper for the entire time. Look up every now and again. Even if you do want to reference the picture, look up every now and again and make eye contact with the examiner. Smile, right? Don't look gloomily or fiercely or scarily at the examiner. Smile, right? Nod in acknowledgement. If the examiner is asking a question, don't just keep still there, because the examiner has no way of knowing that you've heard that question unless you acknowledge. So nod your head, smile, and say yes, yes, yes. That would be very helpful, right? That would certainly count towards interaction. And if the examiner asks you a very long question or a question that's a little hard to understand, don't be afraid to stop the examiner by asking, I'm so sorry, sir, madam, could you repeat that question, please? Or if you're not really sure if you understood the question, you can rephrase the question. Oh, sir, did you mean to ask me if I liked cereal or with milk or without milk? Was that what you were trying to ask me? So rephrase the question and clarify if you're not sure. This does not count against you. In fact, it goes towards interaction. It's a good sign that you are in a conversation, and part of being in a conversation is making things clear. So that's good. Don't be afraid of doing that. Next, and this is important, if you want to really score well, if you want to be virtually guaranteed a spot in the top band of your oral examination, do try to introduce ideas that have not yet been asked for by the examiner but are related to the question. So let me give you an example. If I'm talking about cereal and I'm talking about perhaps eating breakfast, I might want to bring in the idea that it is important to eat a well-balanced breakfast, because eating cereal with milk, for example, gives us a good start to the day by providing us with essential vitamins, minerals, and nourishment for us to have the energy to tackle a day in school. So that might be an interesting idea. It's about eating healthily and it's about having enough energy. That doesn't quite come up in a conversation about cereal, but that you introduce because it's related to that theme, that topic, and that's impressive, and that will score you certain additional points as well. So that's something to take note of, all right?
Look at the picture. Would you be interested to buy the biscuits? Tell me why or why not. Why, yes, I would be very interested to buy these biscuits for a number of reasons. Firstly, emblazoned on the top of the packaging are the words healthy living. This assures me that the biscuits are healthy, they are good for me, and they will provide me with essential vitamins and nutrients that would make me grow strong and healthy. I also see a maze game on the side of the box of biscuits. I myself am quite interested in puzzles and games, and the fact that there is a maze game printed on the side of the package makes me want to buy this packet of biscuits even more. I think it's really interesting that in addition to selling biscuits, the uh, business also takes an effort to engage buyers through these innovative and interesting ideas like printing mazes and games on the sides of the boxes. And I would be interested to support such a company. I also like the fact that it's written on the front of the package, biscuits with great taste, underneath the title Yummy Bites. The font that is used is quite interesting. It captures my attention, and the words like great taste, lots of nutrients attract me even further to look more closely and even to buy this package of biscuits. In addition to that, there is a huge star above the biscuits, and in the star are the words tricky puzzle inside. Complete it and enter the Good Life competition. Track bicycles to be won. Wow, there are a lot of things to talk about here. First of all, there's a tricky puzzle inside. In addition to the maze game on the outside, there is another puzzle on the inside. I'm really curious to find out what this tricky puzzle is, and maybe I would even buy this package of biscuits just to find out what this puzzle is all about. It also says that if I complete the puzzle and enter the Good Life competition, I may be able to win a trek bicycle. Wow. I myself also am an outdoor person. I love cycling. I love all kinds of outdoor activities. And the fact that I could stand a chance to win a bicycle simply by completing this puzzle, which I love to do anyway, is immensely attractive to me. So I'm very interested, and I would certainly be interested to find out more and to buy these biscuits and to try the puzzles and the games contained in it. Why do you think a maze game is given on the biscuit box? Well, as I mentioned earlier, I believe that the maze game is put there to enthuse and to interest people who are interested in puzzles and games, like myself. I think the fact that it is on the outside also makes it very clear that they are trying to attract people who are interested in these games, as opposed to the tricky puzzle which is found on the inside of the box. I also think that this makes the entire packaging more interesting, in addition to the fact that it's got nice fonts and it's probably very colorful and it's got the words healthy living on it. Having a picture of a maze on the outside makes the packaging more attractive and probably draws my attention to it. I would imagine on a supermarket aisle full of different kinds of biscuits, this would make this particular package stand out. What kinds of food do you enjoy eating? And do you think your diet is a healthy one? Oh, I love to eat all kinds of food. I have a broad range of tastes. I love Japanese food. I love Korean food. I love Singaporean food. I love food from all kinds of nationalities. And I do think that my diet is a rather healthy one. The reason I say this is because I make an effort to have a balanced diet. Whatever food I'm having, I try to make sure that I have portions of vegetables and fruit on the side, along with meat and carbohydrates. I find that having a balanced diet makes me feel more energetic and healthy, and it also allows me to perform better as a student. My mind is more active, my brain is more alert. During lessons, I don't fall asleep because I have adequate vitamins and minerals and nutrients in my diet. I'm able to be the best version of myself. I also think that it is important to observe a healthy diet because it helps me to keep myself fit. I am not overweight. I don't have to struggle with diets. I can eat normally, but healthily so that my body retains its optimal weight and I'm able to do everything that I would like to do, whether it's physically or mentally. I think that a diet is important for our brains. It's also important for our bodies. Are you influenced by what your friends and family eat? Well, I would say yes, because when I go out with my parents for a meal, I tend to eat what they eat. So of course, I would be influenced by their choice. But thankfully, my family is rather health conscious. My parents are both very, very conscious about the types of food that they eat. They insist on organic. They insist on properly balanced meals. So, for example, when we went to a Japanese restaurant just the other day, I remember that my father made an extra effort to order a salad in addition to the sushi and the sashimi that we were eating. In addition to the fish, the fish that was cooked and the fish that was raw, we also had some salad and vegetables on the side. My mother loves seaweed and seaweed soup, so she ordered an entire bowl of seaweed soup, and we had that to share as a family. So looking at the way that we eat, I would say that yes, my family is very health conscious, and the choices that my family makes does influence me. And I've grown up learning about the importance of a healthy diet, and I try to influence my friends as well. So, for example, when I go out with my friends, I try to steer them towards restaurants or food stalls that have a more balanced option. For example, if I go with them to the hawker center, I will order economy rice, and I will encourage them to do the same, because when I order economy rice, I can order a side of vegetables, I can order some meat, I can order some eggs, I can balance the meal. I can make sure that I'm not eating too much of one type of food. Eating healthily is one example of healthy living. Exercising is also a good way to have a healthy lifestyle. What sorts of exercise do you like and why? I love to exercise. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm an outdoors kind of a person, so I enjoy cycling. One of my great passions in life is cycling. I love to cycle to different parts of Singapore. I love cycling on the Park Connector network that is linked across the island. I have cycled from Hougang all the way to Pasir Ris, and from Pasir Ris all the way to Changi Beach, and I really enjoy that sensation of having the wind in my face, of just being able to experience nature all around me, and that sense of exertion and physical activity that makes me just break out in sweat and feel so much better. Especially after a long day in school, I like to hop on my bike and cycle around the neighborhood just to relax and to enjoy the neighborhood life. Exercising is also very good for my body. It strengthens my heart and my muscles so that I'm able to do the things I do without worrying about getting tired or falling sick. I believe that this also builds my immunity and makes me a stronger and healthier person on the whole. In addition to cycling, I also love swimming. I like going to the Hougang Swimming Complex every other day. I meet my friends there, and we have swimming competitions. We swim as fast as we can using whatever stroke we like to see who gets to the other end of the swimming pool. And the winner usually gets the loser to treat him or her to a drink. And we always look forward to these competitions because we are quite competitive, and we want to know who's the fastest swimmer amongst us. This also enables us to build strong muscles. It enables us to practice our swimming strokes, and we encourage each other, we cheer each other on to see who will win. So we're quite excited about that. Swimming and cycling are two of my favorite forms of exercise. Are there any forms of exercise that you have never done before and would like to try? Oh yes, there are many kinds of exercises that I would love to try. One of them is skateboarding. I'm not sure if skateboarding is considered an official exercise, but I think it is because it takes a lot of effort to push yourself along on a skateboard. It takes a lot of effort to learn how to balance yourself on that skinny board and to make sure you don't fall off. I've seen some really amazing tricks done by professional skateboarders. They're able to just skate on the rim or rails. They're able to do somersaults in mid-air. They're able to just float through the air while their skateboards go under them. And there's so many different variations. And one day I would love to be able to pick up this sport, this exercise. On one hand, I think it enables me to be more physically active. On the other hand, it just looks so cool. The tricks and the stunts that they do are so amazing, even though my mother will probably be worried because she might be worried that I'll fall down and probably maybe break a bone or get an injury. But I think that's really cool, and I think it's a really amazing way and convenient way to get around as well. So in addition to my bicycle, I would love to be able to get around Singapore on a skateboard and meet different people and make new friends through this exercise, this sport of skateboarding, which I understand is a very vibrant and very exciting kind of a sport. Thank you very much.